All right, welcome everybody to my third workshop in my series. And today I'm super excited because we are going to meet our spirit guides. Now, I started working with spirit guides about 8 years ago when I was introduced to shamanic journeying by my auntie, who is a psychotherapist who uses shamanic journeying in her private practice. And I was skeptical, to say the least. I had been doing some spiritual work. I'd been doing some meditation, especially Buddhist meditation. And to be honest, I thought my auntie was a little bit wacky because she would do stuff like we were trying to eat dinner and she would come around and shake a rattle over our heads and things like this. And so going into it, I had no preconceptions whatsoever. But on my very first shamanic journey, I met my spirit guide, my main one, which is a bear. And ever since then, I have worked with her. But one of the coolest things about it was that what I realized is that she had been with me from the very beginning. And I realized that her energy was present all around me. It was present in my stuffed animal. I could feel it, right, when I was thinking of love. And I realized that from the time I was born, I had had this guide. So it was really a delightful experience. And I started working more and more, doing some shamanic journeys. And I began, when I finally took a course on becoming a professional intuitive, I started doing shamanic healings, and that's when it really took off. And I realized that I had an entire team. I realized that I could call in guides to assist me, and it was just one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life. And since then, I've been working with my guides regularly, and the comfort that they supply me, the guidance that they supply me is just, I don't even know how to describe it. So I am just delighted that I can introduce you to this world and allow you to meet these beings who are all around you and who want to support you so very much. So some people ask, what the heck are guides? How can I know I have them? And so on. And the first thing is that some of you know my general philosophy, which is that I believe that we are undergoing an enormous evolutionary process, and that the evolutionary process that is taking place is one of greater and greater forms of organization, of complexity, of beauty. This is the Creator exploring the universe. And each one of us is like a little ray of that Creator energy. And so whether or not we are aware of it, we are part of this impulse, right, toward the good, toward our true selves. And we are surrounded by helper energy at all times. Now, the problem is that our culture, especially over the last 5,000 years, has been one of, I won't get too complicated, but it is one of duality. And that was a really important process for humans or for this planet to go through, because duality allows us to experience differences, right? We can say, oh, this is good, this is bad. It allows us to distinguish. So, but it's not a final thing. And the ultimate, or I should say, the next shift that is taking place in this planet is toward humans becoming conscious of their role in the universe. And so that is what all of this is leading toward. So just understand that you're part of that. And the old concepts of duality, one of the concepts that it put forward was the idea that we are alone in the universe, that we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, that it's us against the world, right? That there is no help, and so we have to power through. And that is, an incredibly destructive philosophy. And it's the one that had me feeling for the first, 45 years of my life, honestly, as if I was just, a molecule floating in space in a universe that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And if you look at the general ideology of that is put forward in the world right now, is that everything's random, right? There's just no reason for the way that things happen. Evolution is random. And to me, when I, was exposed to that philosophy in biology and so on, I was like, no, I just totally rejected that. But I didn't know something better. But now I do. And the next phase of the human race is going from this place of duality to a place of wholeness, to a place of unity consciousness, where we actually understand that we're part of the whole and that we are not separate, and so that we have support. So these are the energies that are around you all the time. And it is a question of asking them, though, because we are a free will planet. We make our own decisions. We decide the way that we want our lives to go. So spirit guides cannot help us unless we ask them. Now, there is an exception to that. When you've heard these miraculous stories where someone was about to be flung off of, or was in a car accident, and suddenly somebody appeared to save them. There are angels that will intervene, right, under circumstances where we could lose our lives. So that is the one instance that spirit guides, particularly guardian angels, will intervene without you asking them. But under other conditions, you have to ask them. They have to know that you want the help. Now, one of the things that I also come across, I belong to a bunch of shamanic groups on Facebook. And a lot of times people will come into those groups and they will say, I was working with my guides and this purple hippo showed up. And he stood on his hind legs, and then he put on a cape and he started waving his arms around. What does it mean? And the first thing that I always ask is, did you ask them? And of course they didn't, right? Because they were cowering. And, this is the old way of approaching spirit guides and so on. And if you look at the older literature, if you look at times past, it really was hard to contact spirit guides, right? You hear about shamans going through horrible illnesses. Well, that's still the case. But, having to go out and starve themselves for 40 days in the desert before they can see their guides. And that's the idea that we used to have about how spirit guides work, that you really had to suffer and prostrate yourself and make yourself humble. And that, I have theories about why that was put forward, but one of the major ones is that the veil was a lot thicker, and it was a lot more difficult to sort through all of the energetic debris in order to be able to hear them. And the other point that I will make is that we are also different in this incarnation, because in past incarnations, we were involved in experiencing the paradigm of good and evil, experiencing duality, having these various human type experiences. The incarnation that we're in right now, and if you're on this call, I'm talking to you, is the incarnation in which we are assisting the shift of the planet. And so in previous incarnations, maybe we couldn't contact spirit guides in the same way. now we can, because that's what we're supposed to, that is one of the parts of making the shift into this higher level of consciousness. So going back to the whole question of, you know, what do we need to do to meet them? You know, back in the old days, you really did have to do all sorts of elaborate things. So it is different now, but you do need to talk to them. And, you know, it's really funny because those people who would ask those questions would be like, did you ask them what they meant? And they're always very intimidated by their guides. And that's the other thing that I really would like to stress, is that guides are, yeah, there are very serious ones, there are extremely powerful ones, but in general, particularly the guides that you have around you, they are not only super loving and nice and cool, they're also really, really funny. Because guides are for your particular personality. They're totally tailored to you. They're your team. And so they're going to approach, it is really a light way that you want to approach them, knowing that they're here for you and they're not like scary things that are going to scare you half to death. So along that vein, actually, let me stop right here and see if anybody has any questions. You can put them in the chat box, or if you want, if you don't mind being on camera, you can unmute yourself and come on. Yes, Julianne, go right ahead.
I was told years ago, and I guess I still sort of doubt it, but I do try to talk to him. I was told that Merlin was my guide from the time I was very, very young. And in fact, he stopped talking to me because he'd make me laugh so much that my mother thought I was laughing at her and she'd get upset with me. So he said, I can't do this because you're going to get in trouble. But they said he likes to hide things on me. So every now and then when I can't find something and I've spent time, and I can find things really easily, and I'll go, okay, Merlin, that's it. I need it. I want it back here. And I'm not, within minutes, I find it.
Well, he is the magician,
so. But I guess I still, you know, I have those doubts, and I don't know why, because I do, and I have an incredible sense of humor. So when you said, that's what did it. When you said, they're tailored for you, I went, holy cow.
Yeah, so you don't want to be all, if your personality is bubbly, if you approach the guides and, oh, I am not worthy, right? I mean, they will, they'll feel sorry for you, but it's not, you know, you won't get much of a response. And so, yeah, I mean, that is one of the most exciting things, because, you know, you think that you have to become somebody else or something in order to work with spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to become more of yourself. And that's what guides are there to support you in doing. And
interesting.
So help you to become more purely yourself. That is the cool part about it. It's all for you. It's for you. You're the creator. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen coming out of this. Somebody in, by the way, somebody in,
I lost the sound. What did you?
I can't believe I did that. So she's, I don't know where I cut off there. So one of the things that I wanted to mention is that someone sent me a private message that she had been seeing a hawk, and it was very unusual. And what was really cool is that the hawk is my conduit guide. So he's the one, when I do a shamanic healing, he's the guy who helps me to modulate the energy between me and the guides of the other people. And he's like my tour guide to the non-physical universe. And so I was really excited when she mentioned that. And there's certainly a message for her. But then this morning I was walking the dogs and the crows were having a fit. And so I paid attention because the crows often have a fit if a hawk shows up. And so I'm walking along looking to see what's going on. And a hawk was sitting on a telephone wire right across from me. So I thought that was just a beautiful, beautiful confirmation, but also, a portent for this event, right? To have a hawk show up. And I mean, how often do you see a hawk sitting on a telephone line in the middle of the city? It's really something. So that kind of also gives you an idea. People say to me, I got, something happened, like I saw a hawk. Is it a sign? I'm like, yeah. If you noticed it, it's a sign. I don't know what it means because it's going to be resonant to you, but definitely, it is a sign. And let me actually say something about that. So when these kinds of synchronicities occur, you can ask other people, right? And other people might have ideas. Guides are trying to give you clues that they know you're going to go and look up. They're trying to give you clues that are resonant with your personal experience, right? So that, if you have an association of, stuffed animal, with rabbits with rapid growth, right? Then it's going to show you a rabbit when you are poised for a time of rapid growth. So whenever I get a sign like this and I'm not sure what's going on, or I keep seeing the same animal, what I'll do is I'll just look it up, because there are sites that have spirit animal definitions. And so I'll go and look it up, and then whatever resonates, that's the message for us. And it is really, really cool, because when I do shamanic healing sessions, every single time animals show up in these healing sessions, I look them up, right? And it's got some kind of very specific message. It's super, super fun. And also, see, I'm an explorer. I'm an investigator. So the guides like to give me stuff to amuse me, right? And so they will always give me things to research, because they know that that is what I respond to. Okay, let's see. All right. Yeah, Jeanette, I'm going to address that in 1 second, the whole question of them being scary or not. So, Vaishnavi, she's saying, how do you meet your spirit guides? Once you meet them, how do you recognize them? What we're going to do, probably pretty soon, is we're going to do a special meditation to meet your spirit guide. So you'll be able to do that here in this call. And once you have experienced this energy, then you'll be able to identify them. So let me, I want to get on to 2 more subjects, but let me just finish. Yeah, I know, Nana, your unicorn's name is Dudley, and it's so funny because he's so gorgeous. And you sent that at 2:22, by the way. And Paul is saying, isn't it funny that we assume our guides are he or she? Yeah. Isn't it that they are spirit with energy in any form? Absolutely. But things appear to us because we're humans, and we have certain filters of how to experience the world. So they're going to appear to us as male and female because that's what we're familiar with, right? If we were living in a different universe, then it might be different. So yeah, but there's a specific reason why they might appear as a male or a female. If you've got, For instance, you need to be working with sacred masculine. My hawk, he's a shapeshifter, right? So sometimes he appears in the form of a Native American. And he is the personification of sacred masculine. And that's important because there is a difference between sacred masculine and sacred feminine. The sacred masculine is about boundaries, it's about safety, it's about protection, and it's about providing, right? And so having a guide like that will help you to work on those particular issues. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is no gender, and transgender people right now are showing that to us. There's a reason why so many transgender children are suddenly appearing on the planet, because they're teaching us that there's no duality. So, okay. And, all right, now let me go back through and see what I'm, all right. So, I wanted to address, okay. So the whole question of them being scary is one that I'm going to address right now around your intuitive styles. So hopefully you all listened to the workshop on intuitive styles. If you did not, I'm going to do a quick refresher because that is going to help you with this. So there are four main types of intuition that we want to work with, right now. They're the easiest ones. And the first is claircognizance, which is clear knowing. The second is clear sentience, which is clear feeling. The third is clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. And the fourth is clairaudience, which is clear hearing. So one of the things is that you might run into people online or your friends, and they're talking about, Archangel Michael just showed up, and there he is with his blue light, and you can see the robes, and you can see the wings, and it's so clear, and you're like, I've never experienced anything like that. And it's, in part, it's because maybe you're not going to experience it that way. That person is most likely very, very clairvoyant. And so they are going to experience energy through seeing. What we're talking about here is just different ways of experiencing the non-physical universe. Our little five senses are only receiving a tiny percentage of what's available. However, our intuition is helping us to feel the non-physical energies, those energies that we cannot perceive through our regular five senses. So all of these different styles, it's just the way that you experience, and it's perfectly fine. So if you are a visual learner, this is one way to tell what your style is and just kind of to become fluent with the whole thing. But if you're a visual learner, if you are very responsive to beauty, to aesthetics, then clairvoyance may be one of your major clairs. Now, in that case, when we do this process, you might see your guide right away. They'll just appear. Now, I'm going to go on to claircognizance because that's the one that I have. And people who tend to be intellectual, like researchers, scientists, tend to be claircognizant. Claircognizance can be difficult because you don't really, you just know it, right? You just know things. You just have a resonance and you just automatically know it. Now, for instance, when I became a personal trainer, I was extremely successful right away. I could immediately, people would walk into my studio and I could immediately tell what was wrong with them. Now, at the time, I hadn't been doing a lot of spiritual work, and so I just thought I was real smart, or I didn't know what it was. It was just strange because it was as if I had 20 years of experience. But it was because of the claircognizance. Now, one of the worst parts about claircognizance is what I call the claircognizant hangover. And that is that, like, I do this all the time. At night, I'll be lying in bed and I'll just have like this totally clear breakthrough, just absolutely, mind blowing. And then the next morning I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. Right. So that's the hangover. And it is, super, super common. And it's absolutely okay. It's just part of the whole process of doubt. But a claircognizant person where the clairvoyant has the guy just like appearing and you see him, claircognizant is going to have to work harder, honestly. I mean, that's partly because I'm biased as being a claircognizant, but the claircognizant, it will just be a knowing. Now, clairaudience is clear hearing. So if you love music, if you are naturally musical, if you tend to hear songs in your head, which may or may not be messages, and also if you're an auditory learner. Oh, let me go back to claircognizance. So in learning styles, claircognizance will be the one who take in a whole lot of information. This is how I learn. I take in all this raw information and then pop, like everything falls into place. That's the way that I learn. So auditory learners will do best with this format. Sorry about that, you guys. Which is listening. And so you might hear your guides when we go into the process. Now the last one is the clairsentience. Now that is the one which I want to address on the issue of scariness. The very first time that actually it was the second time I taught shamanic journeying to a live workshop. I had a client, she wasn't my client then, but she became mine, who just started, like afterwards, she was like a total basket case. Now this is before I had the experience of teaching in this way to kind of prepare people. And I don't want you to get scared, but the reason that she got scared is because, so she's lying there, we're in a hotel, it was a conference room, and she felt this big, dark thing sit down right next to her and put its hand on her shoulder, right? So she flipped out and we had to like Reiki her and calm her down and everything. So when she became my client, first thing we did is see what the heck that was all about. And it was her main guide. He was just a big dude and very powerful. But because she's clairsentient, right, it scared the shit out of her because he touched her. And I've had other experiences. I had a client where the guide used to come and sit on the edge of his bed, right? And it scared the crap out of him. So just understand that that is the way that you experience the energy. So if you can feel it, it's okay. Just relax. Me running this meditation is also going to be extremely protective because my guides are here to modulate the energy and to make sure that the experience is one of happiness and excitement, right? And so just flow with it. Okay, let me see if now I am going to take more questions because I think we're almost ready to go into our meditation. Let's see now. Oh, Suzanne came. And somebody who doesn't have a name listed. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to get started now. Any other questions at all? No? Everybody ready? All right, so, okay, you'll get the recording tonight. All right, so I'll tell you honestly, normally like the meditation that I have on my site is very short. It's the opt-in on my site. So you can use this recording in the future to work with guides, or you can go pick up the shorter one, because what I'm going to do at the beginning of this one is a little bit of energy work. The other one, you know, once you know the process for meeting your guides, you can use the shorter one. But I was called to do some energy work first to kind of prepare you guys. So in the future, you can just use the shorter one if you'd like to. All right. So just make sure that you are comfortable, that you are in a situation where you can relax and you're not going to be interrupted for a little while. And if you'd like to lie down, you can. I don't recommend that if you are sleepy, if you didn't get enough sleep last night. All right, you can do that if, you know, if you're feeling pretty perky and you're not going to collapse. If you are tired, or if you have a tendency to fall asleep when you close your eyes, just stay sitting. Okay, is there anything else that I need to say? No. All right. Oops. So, closing your eyes. And just beginning to feel into your body, feel into your breath. A few slow, deep breaths all the way into your entire chakra column, into your heart, your solar plexus, all the way down to your root. And just breathing that in, allowing your body to relax. And just gently, gently breathing into your entire body. So now, feeling your feet on the ground, go ahead and allow those feet to soften. And what you will observe is that there are roots under your feet. You might not have used them for a while, so they might feel kind of shriveled up, even vestigial, dried out. But just go ahead and just give them a little wiggle and begin to spread them out, allowing energy to flow into them so they plump up. They can be any size, any width, any texture. These are your roots. These are your connection to the earth. And spreading your roots out, out, out. Feeling the connection. Just allowing some of that earth energy to begin to travel up. Up through your feet. Up into your ankles. Up through your calves. Knees, thighs, and hitting your root, and just allowing that earth energy to just slowly begin to rise. Root, sacrum, solar plexus, each center lighting up as the earth energy hits. Heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And just allowing this energy to just spill over you in a beautiful fountain of warmth, comfort, and love. And so from this place, just feeling so protected, so supported, so connected. Opening your crown chakra. Just like a lotus flower opens to the sun. And inviting etheric energy in, calling on our guides, calling our angels, calling the ascended masters, all of our teachers and creator. Opening the crown and allowing that gorgeous etheric energy to come flowing into our system, hitting crown, hitting third eye, activating third eye, throat, and heart, and solar plexus, sacral, and root. And just allowing these energies to mix, to swirl around you. And now you are connected below to our mother and connected above to creator, and feeling the energy of all of your guides and angels all around you. And so from this place, you will find yourself in a place that feels very safe to you. Might be in nature, might be out in space, might be in a place that you don't even recognize, but you feel so safe and so comforted here. And in front of you, you will see that there's a staircase. Now, a staircase might be a funny thing in nature, but here it looks perfectly natural. And when you see that staircase, there's a thrill of excitement. And you don't know why, but it's very exciting, and very slowly you begin to walk over to this staircase. And this staircase might look like anything. Might be very rich looking with golden banisters. Might be wooden stairs. Might be marble steps. Doesn't make any difference. Whatever it is, they're your stairs. And as you look up those stairs, you can't really see what is up there, but you know it is exciting, and you feel a thrill of excitement in your belly. And so walking toward the staircase, you're going to begin to walk up. And as you step on the first step, it lights up deep cherry red. And as you step onto it, your connection to the earth is strengthened. And you feel the power of the ancestors, the power of all of the generations that came before. Their love, their support. Stepping on to the next step, which is orange, you feel an excitement of creativity, of vistas opening up, of joy. The third step is yellow. And as you step into it, you feel your power. You feel your integrity. And you feel confident in yourself. And as you step onto the fourth step, your heart swells with joy and with love. And you glance up and you see that you're closer, and your heart expands even further. And that heart energy just begins to permeate your whole system. The fifth step is blue. And as you step on it, you feel that you want to shout from the rooftops. The next step is beautiful violet. And as you step onto it, suddenly your perception shifts. You begin to sense movement just outside of your perception. It's as if somebody turned on an appliance and you know it's there. And you're going to find it out. The last step, and all the rest of them, are a beautiful crystalline white. And as you step onto this, you feel your connection to Creator even stronger. And you feel the unconditional love. You are so cherished. And as you continue to go up the stairs, 8, 9, 10, now you come to a landing. And as you look up the next set of stairs, which are all this beautiful crystalline, white, pearly substance, you can begin to hear music, as if angels are singing from the stairs above. And with every step, the sensation grows. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And now you see that there's a door at the top of the stairs, and your excitement begins to build. 16, 17, 18, 19. The 20th step is a landing. And as you step onto it, your entire system is flooded with joy, with acceptance. And you see the door in front of you. Now, just like the staircase, this is just for you. It could be a wooden door. It could be metal. It could be that same pearly substance as the stairs. It doesn't make any difference. It's your door. And so you begin to reach for the handle to the door. And as your hand reaches that handle, you're so excited, but you decide to take it very slowly and you open the door just a crack. And as you do, a bright white light floods your consciousness. And as you step through the door, you can feel beings all around you. You might be able to see them. You might only be able to feel them. You might hear them. And out of this crowd of energies, out of all of this multitude of energy, your main guide is now stepping forward. And as that guide steps forward, you step forward to meet them. And now you will have time to talk to your guide. Don't be afraid. Ask them anything you want. Ask them their name if you'd like, if that's important. Ask for help with a problem. Or just ask for healing. Whatever you need, the very most right now. And so now we'll sit and speak to our guides. And in just a few minutes, I'll be back. Now it's time to say goodbye. And your guide looks at you and reminds you that this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a beautiful relationship. And that you can come and visit your guide. You can talk to them at any time. And so now you may give your guide a gift. You can give them a flower or a crystal, a feather, or just a big hug, whatever seems appropriate. And as you hold their hands and feel the heart connection, your heart connected to theirs, you give one last squeeze. You might hug them or shake their hand or give them a pat. And you begin to turn around and go back. And you feel a little sad, but at the same time, so much love, so much joy. With one last glance back, you might be able to see a crowd of guides now saying goodbye to you. I'm going to walk through the door, closing it behind you. Begin your descent back down the stairs and back to the physical realm. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Glancing back up. It's as though you never left in a certain sense, because their love is there in your heart. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you're back. Take a couple of deep breaths, sending enormous gratitude and thanks and love to your guides and to the guides of everyone on this call and those who will listen in the future. Gratitude, great gratitude. And take a couple more deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And just gently, maybe wiggle your hands and your feet. And rub your hands together. And welcome back. Right. Whenever I do one of these, I'm always like, so what'd you see? What'd you see? And everybody's all so I'm glad a couple people are conscious at least. That's nice. All right. So how's everybody doing? Hopefully not too many people fall asleep. It's one of the dangers. And sleeping, as fun as it is not always the same as journeying. Okay. Does anybody want to share their experience or ask questions? Allison, I'm glad you loved it. Is that my Allison? Ready for a nap. Paul, isn't it really late there? Yes, Mary, go right ahead.
I found that in these, certain types of meditations, there'll be a point where it almost feels like I'm on the verge of falling asleep, but I notice something that just is jumping out, whether it's a guide or something else, and it's that kind of in between place, like when you're actually falling asleep at night when all this stuff starts coming through, like for me, angels. Yeah, my guide was wearing a red plaid shirt this time. And not sure why. First time I was...
your guide an angel, though?
Well, I mean, one of my guides, the first time I actually saw it in a group meditation, saw out of the corner of my eye a figure, dark-skinned figure with a kind of a gold embroidered hat or helmet, and giving me this look like, ha ha, you see me, and it came to me that his name was Tommy. So I don't know if this was Tommy or not, because it wasn't totally clear.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, because you've worked with Tommy before.
Yeah, and it just, there's so much fuzz around my consciousness, and so finally it came through that I needed to focus more. I needed to not be so distracted by everything that's going on, and there's, construction and all the new activities and this and that and the other thing here in Mexico. So, yeah, it was good.
Ooh. Okay, now I have to do this because I'm not good at this. I forget this part. So listen, guys, the reason that I did these workshops is, number one, I love to teach them. But number two, because I wanted to invite you all to join my private group. The Wolfe Pack, I started it as a place for my mentorship clients to be able to come and get my updates. And honestly, I also started it because of my fear in coming completely out of the closet. So I wasn't willing to share everything on my public page. And so I had the Wolfe Pack as being like the safe space where I could share all of the really wild stuff that I was working on. But it's now become a much bigger thing in which I have people who are not my mentorship clients, and it is become a real safe space. I'm actually shifting the name to be Wolfe Pack Sanctuary, because what we do there, when you join the Wolfe Pack, it's $38 a month. And number one, I do energy clearings once a week. And so you get your energy completely cleared once a week. I also do live streams on what's happening with the energies. And that is really important because right now, with geomagnetic storms and all of the wildness on the planet, I am really careful to monitor everything that is going on so that you have a really good sense of that. And then the other thing that you get when you join the Wolfe Pack is we do a monthly event like this. So every single month at the new moon, we have an event where we'll do an upper world journey, that's what that was, a lower world journey, or we'll do an energy process. The other thing that you get is discounts on all of my services. So I would love all of you to join. I would love you to be with us. As things get a little bit wilder on the planet, my idea is that Wolfe Pack Sanctuary is a place where you can feel safe. You can go out in the world and do your good work, but then you'll be able to come back and get the nurturing and the love and the support that you need. So I wanted to get that out before I forgot. And if you look at that page, I have the regular membership option, and I also decided to offer my mentorship option, which is actually the last time I'm going to be doing it this way. Normally, my mentorship option is $400 a month for a meeting a month, and I'm going to be doing it as a special for $297 with the membership. So that will come up as an option for you. So either way, I would love to have you with us. Okay, so now that I got that out, let me see this question. Okay, I'm glad you were here. All right, so do we have any other questions? And the link to join the Wolfe Pack is over in the chat. Anybody want to share their experiences? I'd love to hear.
I'm afraid I went out, and I don't mean asleep.
Okay.
I don't mean asleep. I felt a lot of energy, and then I remember the stairs, and then maybe it'll come through later.
I would suggest that you keep trying again. Okay, so let me just feel into you and see. So when Mary was describing like that trancy type of state, I went through a period of time recently where I couldn't see any guides, and every time I tried to meditate, I would fall asleep. Or I wouldn't fall asleep, I would go into that half asleep, half awake. And I was getting really, really frustrated. And what my guides finally explained to me is that that particular state is one of deep, deep integration. So if your body has been particularly affected by everything that's going on the planet, and you haven't been doing a lot of self-care, the guides are going to help you by having you in that state, and they are working on you when you're in that state. So what they told me when I couldn't meditate or talk to them was that I just had to surrender into it and just allow the process to take place. So what I would suggest is look at your self-care in a really, really deep way. Just make sure that you're getting enough sleep, you're feeding yourself really, really good food. Our central nervous systems are really messed up right now because, I mean, politically here in the United States, it's a horrible situation, right? Then we've got craziness going on with the energetics on the planet. And then we also have, you know, our whole personal thing where we're working through all these traumas. So what I found is that state is really, really important to just sort of calibrate the nervous system. I hope that makes sense.
Well, I did sort of feel like the group that I've heard of and that I've talked to from time to time, I did at one point say, I don't think I have an animal guide. So I asked, I said, do I have an animal guide? But nothing showed up.
Uh-huh.
So then I just, and that's about where, that's where I went out.
Oh, that's where you went out? Interesting. So, I mean, if you're up for it, you could try it again and ask for it.
Okay.
Because feeling into you, yeah, you're interesting because you've got a lot of upper world energy, right? And not so much, because the people who tend to have spirit animals have a lot of earth or shamanic energy. And again, it's not anything to compare.
Yeah, I get that.
Just like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, Libra's an air sign, right?
Yeah, I'm a Libra.
Well, you know, the weird thing is I have an unusual astrology chart in that almost all of my planets are in half of the zodiac.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, it could because, yeah, I mean, you have really interesting energetics. So I would say, you know, if you don't find it frustrating, to just keep trying. I also think you're probably really clairsentient. So be okay with only experiencing them as energies, right? Because when I'm in my real clairsentient mode, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like I'm blind and I'm feeling my way through the darkness to find the edges of the energy. I know that sounds weird, but it's, you know, when you really start working on your intuition, you really feel it as a sixth sense. But again, it's just a question of becoming fluent in it. I mean, it's like learning a new language. You're not going to get it right away. Your grammar's going to suck, and your vocabulary is going to suck. So you just have to be, you know, patient with it. Yeah, I think it's probably I would ask for angels with you.
Boy, I have a lot of those around. I know that.
No, for sure.
I've been noticing the last few weeks that my intuition is just, it's going crazy. I mean, I haven't thought of somebody in like, I can't tell you how long, and they popped into my head, and 3 days later I run into them and I went,
yeah.
Okay. And that's been happening a lot.
There you go. See? So yeah, I mean, this is the other thing is that what I've observed in my clients is, sorry, I almost knocked over my water. When I started developing my intuition, it took time, right? And I was talking to somebody who's been in this business a lot longer than I, and the way that she described it was really, really, really slow. My clients now, it's like their new talents are coming in really, really fast. The veil is very thin, and it's like we're suddenly remembering all kinds of stuff. And so understand that things are shifting. I mean, the energetics on the planet aren't, it's not there to torture us. The energetics are shifting on the planet to assist us. And so we're going to be able to feel these things better as time goes on. All right. So yeah, just be patient with it and keep working on it. I mean, the thing about you is I can feel your power, Julianne. You got it. It's just a question of like really surrendering to the way it wants to express itself. I'm gonna mute you up now. I gotta stop doing that. I keep meaning to mute you and then I mute myself. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry she left. She just said, oh, I'm really glad. So Anna said that it was very powerful visually. That's really cool. And the connection was quick. That's the guide said do the energy work first, so it'll be easier for people. Vaishnavi said not very visual for her, but she felt as though there were 3 spirit animals: a tiger, Sierra, a unicorn raven, and a brown horse with a white spot on his forehead. Toward the end, a snake that was wrapping itself around me. It feels so surreal. That was a full-fledged shamanic journey. She's no longer on the call, but when you do, okay, now you guys don't get jealous or weird or, start comparing yourself, because that's just what happens with some people. They just like take off. But what she's describing, what I just read, that is what shamanic journeys are like. They can be like LSD trips. They're really crazy. When people, well, I won't start talking about that. So I would say that she has really, really strong shamanic energy. And it indicates that she's got, some pretty extraordinary powers. If you didn't experience something like that, don't freak out, though. It doesn't mean anything about your ability to connect. And then Triona said that she felt somebody gripping her hand or arm. Okay. So she said it felt like an older woman. And so when that happens with me, I have this process that I call 20 questions with the guides. So I'll feel a guide, right? And I'll know something's there. And then I start asking them questions. I say, okay, are you an animal or a humanoid? And then I get an answer. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're an animal. What color are you? And then they'll tell me. Okay, brown animal. Are you large or are you small? And then you just kind of go on like that. And with me, because I'm not terribly clairvoyant, if I ask enough questions to kind of get the outline, then it pops into view and I can see them better. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, okay. Oh, so your father's a guide. Paula, that's really cool. My dad's one of my guides too. He's assigned to help you at this moment. Yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. So guides, you do have main guides that follow you through life. Then you'll have guides that'll show up when you need them. My father passed away earlier this year, and he is now one of my guides. So, but I've also called them in when I need them for a specific issue. So that just means that her dad is the one who's helping her right now, which is absolutely beautiful. And Allison says, very pure, visual, and energetic. A healing. Good, yay, I'm so glad. Right, so, this has been really lovely, you guys. So again, just to reiterate, I put the link in here to join the Wolfe Pack. And I will also, what we're going to do here is to send out all 3 recordings. So you'll be able to have the entire workshop. Now, those recordings will be good until next Tuesday, and then I'm going to take them down. So do watch them, and get as much out of them as you possibly can. And then I'll also be closing the doors to the Wolfe Pack, and it won't reopen for at least 4 months. So if you want to join my sanctuary, you're going to need to do it in the next 5 days or so. Okay. So everyone, I am so grateful that you were here. It was really, really beautiful, and your energy is just totally buoying me up. So if you have any questions at all, you are absolutely welcome to either post in the group or send me a private message. I would be delighted to talk to you. So thank you very much, you guys. It was just a joy to be with you today. And see you later.